All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into George Orwell's absolute classic, Animal Farm. We're going to trace this really tragic journey from a revolution that was just full of hope to a tyranny. Well, a tyranny built on lies.
This right here, this is the question at the very heart of the story. And you know, it's a journey that doesn't start with violence or even anger. It starts with something much simpler, a dream of freedom, on a farm where, believe me, life is anything but free.
Okay, so it all kicks off on a place called Manor Farm. And for the animals living there under their human master, Mr. Jones, life is, well, it's defined by one pretty stark reality. As Orwell puts it, their lives are miserable, laborious, and short. I mean, they're worked to the bone, and the second they can't work anymore, they're slaughtered. That's it.
So one night, this prize-winning boar, Old Major, he gets everyone together in the barn, and he basically plants the seed for the entire rebellion. He gives them a common enemy, a single, super simple target for every single bad thing in their lives. Man! And let me tell you, this one idea, it changes everything.
Now, after Old Major dies, the pigs, who are, the cleverest animals on the farm, they take his speech and they build it into this whole system of thought. They call it animalism. And really, it's the guiding ideology for this new society they're dreaming up.
And to really get everyone on board, to unite them, Old Major teaches them the song he remembers from when he was young. It's called Beasts of England. And this anthem, it's so powerful. It's this promise of a golden future time without humans, and it just becomes this massive symbol of hope. It totally electrifies the whole farm.
So that dream, it actually becomes reality, and way sooner than anyone expected. One day, a drunk Mr. Jones just forgets to feed them. The animals are starving, and they just snap. They spontaneously revolt, and just like that, they drive Jones and his men off the farm for good. Manor Farm is now theirs. And in this moment of just pure, absolute joy, they're galloping all over their new farm. The first thing they do? They destroy every single symbol of their old, miserable lives. We're talking whips, nose rings, you name it, all of it gets tossed onto a huge bonfire. They even decide the farmhouse will be a museum. No animal, they say, must ever live there.
So, to make it official, the pigs take all the ideas of animalism and boil them down into 7 commandments. They paint them right there on the side of the barn, and this is supposed to be the absolute, unchangeable law of their brand new equal society.
But, and this is a big but, the very first crack in this perfect new world appears almost right away. See, after the cows are milked, Napoleon tells everyone to hurry off to the harvest. And when they come back, the 5 buckets of milk, they've just vanished.
Now, despite that weird little incident with the milk, things at first go really, really well. The farm prospers, the animals are happier than they ever dreamed they could be. And you've got the loyal horse, Boxer, who comes up with his motto, "I will work harder." But underneath all this success, a huge power struggle is starting to brew between the two head pigs.
And these two, Snowball and Napoleon, they can never agree on anything, ever. Snowball, he's the brilliant visionary, right? Always coming up with new ideas. Napoleon, on the other hand, is quiet, he's cunning, and all he really cares about is gaining more power for himself. And this whole conflict just explodes over Snowball's really ambitious plan to build a windmill.
So the whole farm just splits right down the middle. Every animal has to choose a side. Are you with Snowball, who's promising innovation in a 3-day work week? Or are you with Napoleon, who's making a much simpler promise, security and a full manger? A choice between progress and stability, you could say.
Okay, this is it. The turning point of the whole story. It's the day of the big vote on the windmill. Snowball gives this incredible, passionate speech, and you can just tell he's won everyone over. Victory is right there in his grasp. And then Napoleon makes his move.
Napoleon lets out this high-pitched whimper, and suddenly these 9 enormous dogs burst into the barn, and everyone realizes these are the puppies he took away to educate. They go straight for Snowball, who just barely escapes with his life. They chase him right off the farm, and he's never seen again. So much for democracy. The debate isn't ended by votes, it's ended by pure brute force.
So, with his rival gone, and all the other animals totally terrified and silenced by these snarling dogs, Napoleon wastes no time. He announces that the Sunday meetings, the debates, they're all canceled. Done. From now on, a special committee of pigs will decide everything. The revolution is officially over. A new pyramid of power is in place, with Napoleon right at the very top. Of course, some animals are upset, so Napoleon sends out his propagandist-in-chief, a pig named Squealer.
And Squealer is an absolute master of spin. He uses fear to justify everything Napoleon does, and he ends every single argument with one question that nobody can answer. And that one question, it becomes the ultimate tool of control.
And the propaganda, it is just brilliant in a terrible way. Squealer gets up and says, oh, by the way, we are going to build the windmill. He claims it was Napoleon's idea the whole time. Chasing Snowball away, just a tactic to get rid of a dangerous influence. And the animals, especially the loyal Boxer, they just accept it. Boxer even adds a new motto, Napoleon is always right.
So now that Napoleon's power is absolute, he and the other pigs start to tear down everything the revolution was supposed to stand for, piece by piece.
First up, the pigs move into the farmhouse, which was supposed to be a museum, remember. They start sleeping in beds, and when the other animals are like, hey, wait a minute, isn't there a rule against that? They go check the barn wall, and what do they find? The fourth commandment has been changed, just a tiny bit. It now says, no animal shall sleep in a bed with sheets. See how clever that is?
Things get much, much darker from here. The farm becomes a place of absolute terror. Napoleon holds these public trials where animals confess to being spies for Snowball, and then his dogs just rip them to pieces, right there in front of everyone. The other animals are horrified. I mean, this was their most sacred, most important rule.
But when they go to check the barn wall again, guess what? The law has been changed again. It now reads, no animal shall kill any other animal without cause. And just like that, with two little words, the terror is justified. It's a terrifying lesson, right? If you control the past, if you can rewrite the rules, you control the future. Your memory doesn't stand a chance against that kind of power.
And then comes maybe the most devastating blow of all. The ultimate symbol of their dream. That amazing song, Beasts of England, is just abolished. Squealer announces that it was a song of rebellion, and since the rebellion is over, they don't need it anymore. It gets replaced by a new song, all about how great Napoleon is. The corruption is now complete.
And of course the changes just keep on coming. The pigs find a case of whiskey and start drinking. So what happens? The fifth commandment gets a little tweaked too. Every single time the pigs want a new privilege, the law is secretly changed, and the other animals are just made to feel like they're crazy, like their own memories are failing them.
So the whole journey of the farm, which started with this beautiful idea that all animals are equal, it ends with a truly terrifying sight. The pigs walking around on two legs, carrying whips. And there's just one commandment left on the barn wall. It reads, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. And that leaves us with this chilling question, right? A warning for all time about how easily the best intentions can be twisted into the very nightmare you were trying to escape.